And there's a lot of us that have aspired to Charles Barkley's
yeah,
because of that fact.
Right.
You know, when you look at the NBA, obviously, the other thing we've got to touch on is what the Chicago Bulls are doing, being here in Iowa and what's happening. There's been a couple great playoff series. You know, watching the way the Indiana Knicks series has started off has been great. Obviously, a lot of people in this state still root for Kyle Korver. Kirk Heinrich has been laid up with the Bulls, but people are still paying attention there. And then maybe one of the great upsets, it's not going to amount to anything. The Bulls are going to lose the series against the Heat. But when you look at basically coming out with 5-6 guys and what Chicago did to Miami in the first game, I don't know of many of my friends that weren't in some way rooting for the underdog. Even if they're Miami Heat fans, they had to give it up for the Bulls.
Well, they're all dropping off. I mean, they have so many injuries, and they're, you know, Dang was in the hospital, and who knows about
Heinrich have hemorrhoids? What did
Heinrich had? It's very possible.
Yeah. Well, Heinrich had something going on with him. You got Joakim Noah.
They have everything. Everything's happening to those
guys. And yet they managed to come out and beat the best team in the NBA this year on their floor. You had guys playing 48 minutes. You had the guys guarding LeBron James for 48 minutes. And now we all know that has changed and that Miami is back on track now. But there's been some great performances. I don't watch a ton of NBA, but there have been some compelling performances this year.
Well, you really got to like Noah and how he plays and how he goes about it and how hard he works. And you know, there's some.
Now you like him because of his dad and the tennis connection. Am I right?
His dad and his mom, and he does come from an interesting family background. And I would really like to see him play tennis. I wonder how much he played.
6'11"?
6'11".
He's athletic enough. He'd be rough at the net.
He'd be one step, and he'd be you have to hit it chip it at his feet. But no, it's been.
Enough of this tennis stuff. We had Iowa Hawkeye football team going no huddle in their spring practice, and that is, according to offensive coordinator Greg Davis, that is what we're going to see a lot next year. He wants to run more plays. There are a lot of us sitting here saying, with the way they played offenses last year, less plays might be better. But
less games.
Yeah, less games, less plays. The less time we got to devote, those are hours of my life I'll never get back. But no huddle, what does it mean, and is that just an inevitability in today's college game?
I hope not. I hope not. It's interesting because they're coming on to this. It's not new anymore. A lot of people know how to do it. They've done it a long time. And, you know, I had a coach tell me that, you know, Iowa was hard to prepare for. They played the pro offense with the running backs running downhill, the big linemen leading the way.
They were balanced.
They were balanced. And I had a coach say, you know, we prepare, every week we're playing this no-huddle offense, spread. We're used to that. You know, when you have to go and play Iowa, you really have to prepare differently. So I'm a little, you know, what they were doing was unique in college football, and I kind of liked, when they do it well, it's really interesting and fun to watch.
Absolutely. Well, when you have the offensive line that makes it work, and because the defenders can't play nickel the whole time like you do against a spread attack. But the flip side of that is, one of the comments I saw from Greg Davis was, yeah, we want more plays, but we may not. It's not necessarily going to be 4 wide and chuck and duck. They're still going to be running the football. You know, they've got a fairly experienced offensive line coming back. I still don't see a lot of room for optimism this year. I know you talked about earlier in our exhaustive show prep session, Athlon Sports has listed them as they're picked to finish dead last.
Picked to finish last, yeah, in their division. And I think that you're going to see a lot of that. I think a lot of teams are going to, I think even people are going to pick Minnesota ahead of them. And, you know, people always say, well, that's when they have their backs to the wall, that's when they. But that's been a cliche for a long time. And
if you're a Hawkeye fan, where's your head going into this offseason? I mean, Hawkeye fans are notorious for being obnoxious, for being eternally optimistic, and for whining a lot. Where do we fit in the spectrum this year?
You know, it depends. You know, the first game is Northern Illinois.
It is.
And that's going to tell a lot about the
Northern Illinois, not a bad football team.
Not a bad football team at all. The best football team in the rugged Mid-American Conference. And so
he says that with passion. As a what were you, a 3 seed for Miami of Ohio?
No,
what were you?
No,
lower than that?
Well, forget
okay,
about
I'll quit
that.
mentioning it.
No, we're talking about a good conference and a good team, and it's going to be tough to beat those guys.
Absolutely.
And if they beat them, I think you're going to see a little bit. If Iowa wins, you're going to see a little bit of optimism.
Well, Hawkeye fans are eternally optimistic. That's one of the great things about them. Hope you're optimistic and stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
That's magic. This is not. No magic can help you get in shape, and it won't happen overnight. You need a plan, commitment, and more often than not, you will need help. That's what the Y does best. They have the finest facilities and equipment and a professional staff trained to help you succeed. If you and your family are serious about living an active, healthier lifestyle, why wait? Join the Y today and let tomorrow be the start of a healthier you.
Welcome back to Extra Points. We're excited to wrap up this show, to wind this show down anyway, in a little bit different fashion. We've got Mike Woody, movie critic, movie connoisseur, movie goer. Mike Woody, movie goer, to join Mark Hansen and myself to talk about the movie 42. And neither Mark and I have seen it yet, so we're going to be absolutely useless in terms of challenging you on some of the buffoonery that you'll throw up in efforts. But Mike, where do we start with this movie?
Well, let's start with, first off, that I have to sit in the studio every week and watch this. So why I'm on this side, I'm not sure. And is it just me, or does this couch here kind of smell like hair gel?
It smells like Casey Shelton, absolutely. If you're just tuning in, Casey not with us this week. A surgical procedure that will result in him looking better, which we're all happy about when he's done.
Let's talk movies. 42 came out just recently, or coincidentally right as baseball season started. And I think it's a very good movie. It's not a great movie. It's directed by a guy named Brian Helgeman, who's done some pretty good movies.
Now, in terms of sports movies, does this crack your top 10 sports movies?
No, this would not crack my top 10
What
sports
is your
movie.
on top?
That's teasing that. We're gonna hold that for future shows.
It depends on the week.
But we're going to talk about 42 now.
But 42 stars a young man named Chadwick Boseman, who plays a perfect Jackie Robinson. I mean, he looks like him, he acts like him, he's got a great attitude.
Can he throw like him? Can he hit like him?
You know what? The baseball action's pretty good. It looks believable. Harrison Ford plays Branch Rickey, who infamously broke the color barrier and brought this guy up.
Yep.
You see a lot of the background of the heat that he took to do that, both from the other team owners and from the other teams themselves.
How many people today you think even understand the history of the Negro Leagues and the segregation that and really what a huge step that was?
Yeah, and it's very interesting to see the process that they went through. I mean, they had a whole list of on a bulletin board, or a chalkboard actually, of players that could make that step. And he chose Jackie Robinson because he knew that Jackie could take the abuse without losing his temper. Mm-hmm. It's a very interesting movie. It really is. It tells great history, and I think I was talking to somebody the other day. Take the kids, because this is a movie that kids need to see, because this is a piece of history that didn't happen that long ago. I mean,
and it's already being forgotten.
Yeah. And they do a nice job. The problem I had with the movie is Harrison Ford, who plays Branch Rickey. He plays him, and I don't know enough.
Did he have a leather hat and a whip?
He did not. I don't know much about Branch Rickey, but he plays him almost cartoonish, almost like a buffoon. There's certain lines that he'll say, and you're just like, did he just say? And he gets this weird little comic look on his face. But the true center of the film is, which was surprising to me, was the relationship between Jackie Robinson and his wife Rachel. I mean, they really supported each other during a very tough time.
She had to have his back, and they had to be very isolated during that time.
Right, and I mean, there's a very uncomfortable scene in the movie where they're playing the Phillies, and the Phillies manager comes out on the field for an extended period of time, and I bet he uses every variation of the N-word. It's just to sit and listen to somebody be taunted that way was uncomfortable. But it's a very good movie.
Well, and when you look at this movie, we talked about it's not in your top 10. I do want to share with people that in coming weeks, and we'll try to make sure we let our viewers know, because I'm sure it'll be our most popular segment. We're going to have you review and start with your top 10 sports movies. And I know that'll depend on the week, but we're excited to have you here. We're excited to have you share your perspective on sports movies throughout history.
And when I leave, do I pick up the check, or where will that be?
There will
sitting?
be. We will double your salary as executive producer to do a movie review.
Wow, that's awesome.
Absolutely. Well, throw out a couple of the other movies that are in your top 10 without telling us where they are. Other sports movies, you know, for me, obviously, Field of Dreams, Hoosiers. There are some of those movies that are there that are quintessential. I can't wait until Luke's old enough to sit down and watch them with me.
I'm not sure if Field of Dreams will be in the top 10. Hoosiers definitely will be there. Rocky will definitely be there.
Longest Yard?
The original Longest Yard, not that thing that Adam Sandler did.
Yeah.
Slapshot will be in there.
Of course.
We'll see.
Caddyshack, is that a sports movie?
It could be.
Bull
You
Durham?
see, again, that's lowbrow humor. You don't.
I love Bull Durham.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm a baseball nut.
I thought that was tremendous.
I think The Natural will definitely be in there.
The Natural.
A movie that, honestly, when I saw it the first time, didn't like.
Yeah.
And I had to go back a second time, and now I think it's maybe my favorite.
Well, we're going to get into movie reviews in coming weeks. We're going to deliver our extra point here right after this break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
People like to see a return on their investment. Is it time for you to make an investment in your health? The YMCA has great locations, facilities, equipment, and a staff dedicated and trained to help you succeed. And is affordable to all. The Y offers boot camp classes, a pool, wellness coaches, complimentary child watch, and so much more. If you and your family are serious about living an active, healthier lifestyle, why wait? Join the Y today and let tomorrow be the start of a healthier you.
Overwhelmed? Frustrated? Not sure what to do with your garage? Let the professional design team at Minnesota Cabinets be your garage organization solution. Floors, cabinetry, slapboard walls, and other accessories, all custom designed to maximize your space and be easy on your budget. Let Minnesota Cabinets, your trusted solution for kitchen cabinets, bring some peace of mind to your garage too. Wait till your neighbors see this. Minnesota Cabinets, home and garage on 100th Street in Urbandale.
Is it too early to talk about the NBA? It's just May after all. The season doesn't really start for another month or two. But I can't wait that long. Here's what I want to know. What is going on with Derrick Rose and the Chicago Bulls? This has been the headline for most of the season. Rose won't rule out return. Just to recap, the 2011 MVP tore an ACL last season. You never want to tear an ACL, especially if you're a point guard in the NBA. Coming back takes hours of rehab. Even then, the knee still might never be the same. Now comes the strange part. Rose had surgery last May. He was medically cleared to play 2 months ago. He's been scrimmaging full speed since mid-February. Ever since, the company line has been, Derrick will play when he's ready. But when will that be? It's the playoffs now. The Bulls won a close series with Brooklyn, and they opened the conference semifinals by knocking off the defending champion Miami Heat. They're battered and bruised, fighting through all kinds of injuries, showing all kinds of guts. Rose, meanwhile, warms up before the game, showers, puts on a nice suit and tie, and watches from the bench. Nobody knows when he'll be back, not even Rose himself. Meanwhile, nobody in Chicago can enjoy this unforeseen success because everybody's arguing about Rose, probably the second greatest player in franchise history. Without being in his shoes, it's hard to know what he should do. I think I know what the greatest player in franchise history would do. So apparently does former Bull Steve Kerr, who says Rose owes it to his teammates to play if he's healthy. Publicly, his teammates continue to support him, as they should. But I wonder what they say when the cameras and microphones aren't around. That's it for now. Tune in next time when Al and Casey discuss the pros and cons of varicose vein surgery. You won't want to miss it.